for the edited result. We accept the image URL as the source, a prompt that describes how to change the image, and an optional negative prompt to tell the model what to avoid. We also accept width, height, and denoise, which control output size and how strongly we transform the original image. 2. Logging plus try/catch safety. First, we wrap everything in a try/catch, so any failure gets logged clearly. Then we log the key inputs, the URL, the prompt, and the denoise amount, because when you're running jobs remotely, logs are the difference between debugging in minutes versus hours. Step 1, get image bytes. 2a, extract an S3 key if the image is ours. Now we need the source image in raw bytes, but there's a twist. The image URL might be our CloudFront link or an S3 link, and those can expire or be locked down. So we first attempt to extract the original S3 key from the URL using try_extract's 3 key. If we can get that key, we can generate a fresh pre-signed URL and reliably download the image. 2b, download logic, S3/CloudFront versus external URL. Narration. If the URL is one of ours, we generate a brand new pre-signed get URL that's valid for a few minutes, then we download the image bytes from that fresh link. If it's an external URL, we just download it directly using HTTP. Either way, we end up with image bytes and we log the file size so we know the download actually worked. 2c, convert to base 64. Once we have the bytes, we convert the image into base 64. RunPod accepts images in base 64 format, so this becomes the clean way to embed the image inside our request payload. 3. Step 2. Build the IMG to IMG workflow. Next, we build the actual image-to-image workflow. Create image-to-image workflow generates the structured workflow graph that tells the remote pipeline how to process the image. We feed it the prompt, the negative prompt, the output size, and the denoise value. This is the part that defines the editing brain of the request, how the model should transform the image. 4. Step 3. Submit the job to RunPod. 4a. Build request body, workflow plus base 64 image. Now we package everything into the request body. Inside input, we include the workflow definition and an array of images. We name the image input _edit_image.png and attach the base 64 image data. This lets RunPod run the workflow using our uploaded image as the starting point. 4b, serialize plus post to /run. Then we serialize the request to JSON and send it to RunPod's run endpoint. We also log the payload size and log the response, but we cap the response log to avoid flooding our logs with huge data. 4c, validate response plus extract job ID. After we post the job, we call ensure success status code to fail fast if anything went wrong. Then we deserialize the response into RunPod run response and grab the job ID. That job ID is important. It's our tracking ticket for the rest of the process. 5. Step 4. Poll for completion. RunPod jobs are asynchronous, meaning we don't get the final image instantly. So we call poll for result async, open parenthesis job, ID close parenthesis, which repeatedly checks the status until the job is complete. When it finishes, we receive the edited image result back as base 64. 6. Step 5. Upload result to S3 and return URL. Now that we have the edited result, we upload it to our own storage. Upload base 64 to S3 async converts that base 64 result back to a file, stores it in S3, and returns a permanent URL, typically served through CloudFront for speed. Finally, we log success and return that S3/CloudFront URL to the caller. 7. Error handling in the catch block. If anything fails at any point, download, workflow, RunPod submission, polling, or upload, we catch the exception, log a clear error message, and rethrow. That way the UI can show the user that the edit failed, and we still have logs to diagnose exactly why. Helper method. Try extract S3 key. A. CloudFront URLS3 key. This helper method's job is to reverse engineer an S3 key from a URL. If the URL host matches our CloudFront domain, we treat the path as the S3 key. For example, generated-images/abc.png. B. S3 URL patterns arrow normalize the key. If it's a direct S3 URL, we extract the path and remove the bucket prefix if it's present. This normalizes everything into a clean key we can use with S3 AP is. C. Already a key relative paths. And if the string is already a key like generated -images /... or upload /... we return it directly. If none of those match, we return null, meaning it's an external URL and we should just download it normally.